I just realized with a terrible shock that I've been a permanent resident in Germany now for almost exactly 30 years, which means that about half of you watching this video weren't even born when I made the move. And that is easily the most frightening statistic that YouTube Analytics has ever shown me. If I'd had children when I first got here, they'd be having children of their own now. I mean, yikes, I could be a grandfather. Which I'm not, by the way, as far as I know. I had visited Germany twice before, but I made the permanent move in the autumn of 1993. For about the first 10 years or so, I lived in Berlin, and yes, I did then move directly from Germany's biggest city to a village that measures its population in the hundreds. And look, I didn't regret living in Berlin, and I don't regret living here. Turns out, I can live happily anywhere. Obviously, in my time there, I met quite a few colourful characters, and I thought that as a brief distraction from the dark times that we're currently living through, I'd mark this historic anniversary by telling you about one of these characters. I'm going to call her Hortensia. Now, at the time, one of the things that I was doing was helping out at a small bookstore and coffee shop for the English-speaking community run by the Methodist Church there. Hortensia was a member of the congregation and a regular at the shop. She was born German, but had married an Englishman and spent most of her adult life living in the UK. But it was one of those relationships where the husband took care of, well, pretty much everything. So when he unfortunately died, it left her unable to cope with everyday life. So she took the decision to move back to Germany, where she became reliant on us instead. We had to feel sorry for her. Her husband died while she was still middle-aged, and when she came to Germany, about the only thing she had that connected her with her late husband was her car. The problem was that her car was a death trap. Even after she'd been living in Germany for years, her car was still registered in the UK, which was illegal. If you've been resident in Germany for more than a year, you must register your vehicle in Germany. But Hortensia didn't want to do that because she knew it would mean a technical inspection, which she was afraid her car might fail. And to be fair, she was absolutely right. By that stage, the chassis was composed mostly of rust. The only thing keeping that car going was the power of prayer. Not only that, but she regularly parked it illegally. Her favourite spot was right outside the shop, but that meant blocking what was officially a vehicular access. And in Germany, you're not allowed to do that. Now, I know, because I was there, that the pastor tried very hard to explain to Hortensia that parking an illegal car covered in I Heart Jesus stickers in an illegal parking spot right in front of a church-run facility was very, very bad for the church. But Hortensia was stubborn. She had a bad back. She needed to park close to the shop. Now, I should explain that this was quite close to central Berlin, just outside of the area where you have to pay for parking, and so parking spaces in that street were incredibly rare. And to be fair to Hortensia, a lot of other people did park in that spot, also illegally. Yes, Hortensia, they did, but they weren't churchgoers and they didn't have Christian symbols plastered all over their cars. Also, if they were booked, they didn't risk a massive fine for having what was essentially an unregistered car on a public road. Now, if at this point you're thinking that Hortensia may not be the sharpest knife in the drawer, you're absolutely correct. The story I'm about to tell you, as bizarre as it sounds, is absolutely true. I was sitting in the shop with a few others and Hortensia joined us, complaining that somebody else had taken her spot and she'd had to park about 50 meters away, and her back was really quite painful today. A little while later, we all saw the car outside the shop drive away. "Oh, good," said Hortensia. "My spot is free. I'll just go and get my car and park it in my spot so that I won't have so far to walk when I leave." Wait, Hortensia, stop. Just think about it for a moment. Just... She's gone. Now, in the time that it took Hortensia to walk to her car and drive it to her spot, somebody else had taken it. So she drove back to where she had just been parked before, and somebody else had taken that spot too. In the end, the nearest spot she could find was nearly 2 blocks away. And the worst thing is, she still didn't learn her lesson. Now, I don't know what has become of Hortensia since I left Berlin, but one thing's for sure, she's not driving that car anymore. At least, I hope not. And to be fair, she was right. By that time, the car flew. Okay, I just ran out of something. I'm going about as well as Hortensia's car.